Hey everyone, this is Magnanimous. I'm Farmer and welcome to my review of Wonder Woman, the fourth DC movie. Now, before I watched it, there was a ton of memes about Wonder Woman holding up the DCEU, and that Wonder Woman also got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that kind of raised my expectations a little bit because Rotten Tomatoes always rates DC movies really low. Alright, so let's get into this. Well, Wonder Woman was a very interesting movie. It was quite disappointing to sum up, but I'll get into it. So the intro was fairly good. Like, I missed the first scene where Wonder Woman is like on in her desk and she's talking. I don't know. I completely missed that. I left the movie cinema to go book my ticket, and then but I returned as soon as the Themyscira scene started, so that was really good. Just the whole Themyscira part of the movie was very interesting. I loved the whole look of the island and had great color and contrast. And the action scenes and the battles with the other people was very good. And I liked seeing Wonder Woman like growing up as like starting as a kid and how she like really wanted to fight and not knowing exactly who she was, and then her discovering that she's something special when she like smashes her wrist together and causes that massive explosion. One issue I had with that is think also in that same fight scene with Wonder Woman and her teacher, it turned full arrow like in for me. Like there was so many camera changes and I was like, stop, just please, like I can't see what's going on. I don't know what's happening. There's just way too many cuts and close angles. It's like what I really like in fight scenes is just like a long shot, like side by side or maybe on a slight angle. I think that's the best shot for a good fight scene between two people. Also a missed opportunity to show more training for Wonder Woman. They seemed like they were just rushing through it just to get to the London part. Yeah, that's what I really thought was true, because it seemed like it was just like cut and then she was like a teenager and then she was fully grown, and then but then you get to that awesome Themyscira battle, which I think is my favorite part of the movie, and I'm definitely going to rewatch that on YouTube. That was some of the best action in the whole movie, definitely, like especially find the Germans, and you had heaps of nice close kills on camera and just good slow-mo as well. Also, the London was interesting at first, but then got old really quickly. Like, as soon as I think Steve came into the movie, just had that whole terrible. I don't know. I just hated their character interactions. Like, just it seemed like it was just the same thing over and over again. Just Wonder Woman asking same questions about something she obviously doesn't know because she's doesn't know anything about the human society and stuff. And Steve, it's a watch. It helps you tell time. It's just like it was the same thing, and like people laughing. As soon as I was like, what? Are you only laughing because it's a female-led superhero movie? So it's like sympathy points. Yeah, laughter. Haha. I don't know. I just really didn't like that. I didn't like Wonder Woman and Steve together at all. I felt like it was just really stupid. Like it wasn't very well. Like I don't know what it was supposed to be like, because I haven't read or watched any like kind of movies focused on Steve and Wonder Woman, like in the Justice League New 52 Volume 2 with the Dead Man. I think it was slightly focused on them, but they were kind of had already broken up, and it was just this awkward kind of storyline. But yeah, that was really it. And then the London part I think was way too long. It's so unnecessary. Like it was just seriously just Wonder Woman being ignorant in the world and had a lot of dry, silly laughter. And then when they go to the bar, I was like, what are we doing? Why can we just get to the war? Like, why are we spending so much time just in this silly bar with? And then they tried to like shove all these characters in your face. It was like sympathize with them, like they've gone through war. Oh, it's such a big deal. And then when that British guy came up to them and gave them the money or the plane to get to the front lines, I forgot. It felt like I had missed a scene. Like he came out of nowhere and was just like, oh, here's the tickets. We've totally met each other before. I don't know. It seemed like I missed something almost. Another big thing was the war seemed very small scaled. Like Wonder Woman literally only freed one village, went to a party, and then stopped a plane, and that was it. Like they should have shown, like in Captain America, how they had the montage of him taking out different bases and the different shots to the map of Europe and there's the different German bases and then like taking out the flags as they progress. And actually seems like it's a massive scale war, which World War Two was. Another thing, the Poison Lady. I don't actually know her real name, but she was a nothing character. Like I didn't know anything about her. It just seemed like she was just evil and knew a lot about poison, and that was really it. Like, they didn't show any flashbacks or any characterization. She was just so bland, and we didn't know anything about it. Like, compared to Feora in Man of Steel, which I think they are very similar kind of size of characters in their movies. At least with Feora's circumstances, she actually had some dialogue and decent fight scene. A lot of people liked her, thought she was badass and stuff. And we knew more about her and her position and her character compared to Poison Lady. Also, the party scene was so unnecessary. Like, it seemed so out of place. Like, they went straight from the war and that stupid scenes after the No Man's Land action scene where they were trying to continue to characterize the bar people, like with that Irish guy singing. They're like, oh yeah, he's been through stuff and he hadn't sung in a long time. Like we actually cared, like they could barely show any characterization for Wonder Woman, and they're trying to shove down our throats characterization for the Irish guy that no one cared about. Yeah, the party scene seemed like they were just going like, oh yeah, the German guy's there. No big deal in trying to find him. We already know where he is. And yeah, we're gonna go there and gonna try and kill the German guy because that will end the entire war. Okay, now let's talk to the biggest reason why I think this movie is a flop. And that is Ares. I don't know how anyone is giving this average movie higher than a 7 with just the villain. Like what we couldn't get an actual Greek actor who looks like Ares. Like even if Ares was actually the German guy, it still would have been crap. Another typical German guy with barely any character in armor fighting. Then they go and chuck an Iron Man 3 and make it a random British guy. But Iron Man 3 did it better by actually keeping the surprise guy consistent in the movie. One woman just fights Ludendorff and then the British guy. And then this British guy, this nothing character who had a 5-second scene in the bar, which shouldn't have been in the movie in the first place, which felt like I missed something because I couldn't remember if he was in the movie earlier. I couldn't take Ares seriously at all. It's just his accent and how non-threatening or menacing he was. Even when he wears the cool armor, you could still see his stupid mustache. Also, it was just a god nothing about. I don't even care whether Wonder Woman won or not. It didn't seem like the Germans could succeed. I didn't feel any urgency. There was no enthusiasm. It was just robots moving into battle with no inspiration or war charge. It didn't feel like they had any reason to try and stop the Germans. It was just we were told that they were going to bomb them with the gas, and the gas is really dangerous, but it didn't seem like they were ever going to succeed. Just the Germans in general were so plain. It was just dry and dull watching Wonder Woman beat useless goons who don't seem like any real threat compared to Man of Steel. Even just the Smallville fight, which was way better than the Wonder Woman and Ares fight showed Fiera and On. At the beginning, you had the military shooting all three, which with Superman losing most of the fight with much more powerful dialogue, showing Superman as an inexperienced and young person while still saving soldiers. And then at the end, you have that great scene where the Captain guy says, "This man is not our enemy." You may complain about the Avengers saying that Chitauri or Ultron army were just hordes of enemies, and to that I say this is what there was a lot more going on in that end fight than just fighting hordes. You had the Avengers coming together finally, and then there's multiple shots of people getting hurt or threatened or scared. The massive flying worm things were very threatening, and I was like, and had a oh my gosh tone. I was like, how are they going to take these down? Halfway through the battle, the Avengers start struggling, and while this happens, you have the somber music and the tension of Nick Fury trying to argue with the Council about nuking Manhattan. What's Woman? Okay, a small team. This is going to stop the war because I'm going to stop some random scientists and general. We are going to end the war. The war across most of Europe. Okay, a small team of mindless people who we've learned nothing about, and also had to waste 10 minutes talking you right after a good action scene. Let's go stop Ares. And then the battle, the big shock that one is the God Killer. Big surprise. This movie's 10 out of 10 because it was a female who is good and kicks ass. Thank you for the beautiful orange and black background. Oh, it's so awesome. I could feel the tension of saving the world. Oh, was that so beautiful? Oh, that was so beautiful that Steve said, I love you. That was just so perfect. Piss off. What is this? Seriously. I felt like after the party and gas attack, they threw in all these lines about human nature and morals and who's actually evil and are even bothered to make it seem like Wonder Woman is actually going to save the humans. I mean, good job for trying those complex and interesting themes, but have them throughout the bloody movie. Not, oh, so that's the extra twist. It's human nature that causes war, not a single being. Wow, then the real big stinger. Steve dies in a ridiculous way, shooting the gas while the plane contains the gas. Couldn't he have dropped the bombs in the water or anywhere else, or turn off the timer and land it, or fly it heading towards the ocean and jump out? But no, he has to die, or what else will cause one to be Ares? And then you just had British Ares talking non-stop in the most cliched ways. The classic join me and explain my story. I didn't even know what Ares could do, like I barely know anything about him. Then you had him using Zeus's lightning somehow, and Wonder Woman having a force field to stop Ares' speed. Like, is this Avatar now? I would have also liked if we had learned how Wonder Woman can do that. Bang her wrist bracelets together explosion, but thanks for explaining that to me, DC. How did you get a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, but give Man of Steel a 55? Are people just afraid to give this movie a realistic review? I guess it's a big deal that there's a lead female superhero. Good job for trying. This movie looked awesome in the trailers. I really was all for it. Don't have anything against Zack Snyder. I know he produced and wrote this story. Obviously, I liked Man of Steel. I also liked Watchmen and 300. He's made some good choices and made some good movies, but also made some bad movies. I know Patty Jenkins directed, and I hope she doesn't direct the next Wonder Woman movie. In conclusion, Wonder Woman was very disappointing. Like, to me, this movie was never going to be higher than a 7.5 because I don't really like Wonder Woman. It's like the Logan movie. I've never loved the X-Men, but I still like them. So you don't care as much about the characters as you would for a movie with your favorite characters. I've never read a Wonder Woman comic, and I just had base knowledge about her abilities and character by reading the Injustice series and Justice League New 52, including the Dark Side War, which is mainly from Wonder Woman's perspective. I just wish it was more on the war, like they went from Themyscira and then to the war, and it wasn't just one tiny battle that apparently has massive effects on the war, or the whole movie wasn't in chronological order. I know there's that scene of Diana at her desk, which I missed, but seriously, it went from her as a kid to the end of the war, and then jumped again to the future with that gay ending shot, which pretty much had me wondering, can she fly or not? I still don't think she can. Like, she hovered when she killed Ares, but anyways. Maybe they could have done a more Man of Steel or Deadpool style, because how Deadpool went from Wade already being Deadpool to the flashbacks, it was just so much better because I didn't have to wait for him to become Deadpool. Another big thing was the trailers. Like, I only watched, I think the Comic-Con released one, and maybe the first two trailers. And I think they released 4. So I really hadn't seen all of them because I didn't want to spoil it. But even though I hadn't watched the last 2 trailers, I had pretty much seen all the best moments and things in the movie. which was extremely annoying because I hate it when movies release the best scenes in the trailers. Like, that just shows that it wasn't a good movie if they needed to show their best stuff just to get people to watch the movie. Like, for example, when in No Man's Land scene, where you pretty much get to see everything, like her holding her bracelets in an X, and then her stopping all the bullets, or her holding up her shield. Like, they showed all of that in the trailer, even bits where she would dive through the room and like do a slow-mo slide and kick the German soldiers. That was in the trailers as well. Even her running and grabbing onto the tower wall in Themyscira, where it was supposed to be this big scene of her realizing her powers and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that would have been, more impactful and interesting, but wait, I had already seen it in the trailers, which is a big mistake, because then what's the point of watching it if you can see all the best movies, best parts in the trailers? So I do not recommend seeing it, and I'm seriously not going to buy it. I'm just going to get it. I'm just going to watch the Themyscira fight scene when it comes out on YouTube. So there you go. Also, Wonder Woman's character development was pretty poor, like compared to Captain America, where he's full on Captain America throughout the movie and then becomes the real Cap halfway through. Diana just seemed a bit too ignorant and bland. Like the first half was she just wants like the first half, she just wants to fight, and then it's I want to help stop the war. Then it's just comedy crap of her not knowing basic knowledge of human society. Then she does a full 180-degree turn and pretty much gives up on humanity, with the main theme being human nature is the enemy, not just a singular being. But even that wasn't done well. So I've given you everything of what I thought of Wonder Woman. I know it sounds pretty negative, but that's what I thought. I hope you agreed with me, or can at least see my point of view. If you loved it, then good for you. I don't really want to see it again. So my final score is a 5 out of 10. Well, there you have it. Please check out the other videos of this channel. That would be awesome. Please like and subscribe. I will be releasing a review for Star Wars Episode 7 in the next month. And thanks for watching.